Hey, Crota, do you think it's funny?
What do I think? What is funny?
It's just a meme.
I'm like, wait, what? Huh? I, like, like, all right, let's
Just
focus
a,
on the game here. And a
yeah.
2v2 matchup, game number 2 in this series. We have Spiral versus SyDe, Spiral and SyDe going up against Michael and ThundeR. Michael and ThundeR, the Korean brothers, right? If I'm
Yeah.
yeah, Korean brothers. ThundeR also being well, very popular on Instagram. I hear going in against SyDe and Spiral. What do you think about game number 1?
It's hard to, it's hard not to be critical because it felt like he was kind of one-sided.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like Side and Spa, like it's just the start of the tournament. The new season of WC Champions only started 3 days ago, so they haven't had much time to practice yet.
Mm-hmm.
This tournament only uses maps from the new season.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it felt like they weren't that well prepared yet for the 2-on-2 at this level against this caliber of opponents. But yeah, I hope that as time passes by, all teams are going to be practicing hard on the ladder. I think the 2-on-2 ladder could be very sick because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we were playing on Hillsbright Creek, which is kind of known, like that Orc Undead meta with the Criplord Expo and Headhunters is kind of new, and I feel you need to practice it a lot. Bizarre and Chic, they're two of the better players that do it usually.
Yeah, I also thought that Michael and ThundeR, their teamwork and their strategy was just spot on. In their second fights, constantly being able to siphon mana, funnel that Crypt Lord, and keep those units in the air. There was a little bit of misstepping where like you would siphon mana the opponent's Crypt Lord, and then it would get impaled and it would break the siphon mana. But hopefully, we'll see better teamwork as as you say, the season goes on, and people understand how to work better as a team.
Yeah. It's very interesting, this Scout Tower from ThundeR. He already did that last game towards the expansion, or would-be expansion of Side.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if he just goes back with the Peasant. He's going to follow up Scout, but then that Peasant is not very mobile. It dies quickly, and it still gives him some sort of cheap follow-up Scouts to see the opponents move out. So it's pretty sick, actually, that tower. I could really like that.
Yeah, I like that tower when he dropped it right next to the Voodoo Lounge. And anywhere where it's a common place where it kind of defines where your opponent's strategy is going to go, whether it's going to be an expansion or whether they're going to attack to the north or to the south, since this is classic Turtle Rock, and any little bit of extra information is always, always helpful. Mountain King now making its way out. Both sides just doing a little bit of creeping. What do you think about Mountain King over Archmage in here in game number 2?
I think as much as they're not going to have any brilliance, which is also helpful, as long as Mikael eventually goes into statues, which he should every game, it's okay because there's still going to be a Blood Mage second. So on a map where it's like a lot of big creeps that are hard to creep, if you go Archmage, you can kind of get bullied.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like it. I do think, though, like if Spiral and Side would do the thing that we saw a lot of the time from Bizarre and Chic, which is fast expanding every game, and then the Orc going Farseer Headhunter, I do think they would have been very favored because with Mountain King, you cannot achieve any aggression and damage early on.
Yeah.
But they went for a different strategy.
Yep, different strategy here. Mountain King did get a good surround onto one of Spiral's orcs on the other side. And now this game is almost looking like two 1v1 matchups happening simultaneously as opposed to a 2v2, which is always an interesting dynamic in 2v2 games as well.
Yeah, for sure. ThundeR, though, is about to come over. I mean, Spiral technically was kind of trying to keep Mikael busy, but Mikael realized the shop was being crept, showed up, stole the Magi, but not the item, right? No, he didn't get it. That was a beautiful ring +4 for SyDe. I'm sure he's thrilled about this.
Well, more importantly, getting that Watcher Ward by SyDe, being able to watch those pathways and know exactly where your opponent's going. Expansions here, I'm thinking about it here on 2v2. You're expanding towards your opponent, and it just seems like it's just going to be constantly harassed. So we may see just a lot of one base on both sides, as ThundeR's Scout Tower will finally get refunded, and we'll see what ThundeR does with this little bit of extra information.
They refunded.
Right. He canceled that, right? I'm assuming he did.
Yeah. Some things were harder to get refunded, I heard, like not too long ago.
Well, at least you can refund in WarCraft 3.
Ooh, right. Finn trying to go for the steal with one hit. And the Blade Master actually was surrounded for a sec. He had no windwalk, but ThundeR let the surround go. Speed Scroll being used. Stormbolt is going to be there. He might try to force the Town Portal. If one unit dies, that's going to be Blade level 2. Oh, that wasn't a full surround. I thought it was for a second.
No, Spiral was able to get one of his grunts right in front of him. He was able to move them both away at the last moment. And, you know, it's the same reason why you summon Spirit Wolves as a Farseer. You have a way to get out, and it's harder to get that surround going. As it's a 2v1 fight in the middle. They're kind of getting pushed here on both sides. Units are falling. Crypt Fiends are doing a little bit of that poke damage back and forth. But with no Death Knight yet out onto the battlefield, that Crypt Lord could easily get targeted and burst down, as that is the weakest link for the Undead army right now. Meanwhile, Mountain King really pressing forward, trying to go after side units, and it's really turning into this weird 2v1 fight. And where is Spiral? Spiral is just trying to pick off units that are making their way over, as the militia are making their way. And perhaps are we going to see a... What are they doing this far out here?
It's kind of weird. I think they were trying to catch them, but then the fight didn't really materialize because Spiral and SyDe, they were pulling back. They were trying to pick off certain units by themselves. Now, going for the Crypt Lords, I'm not sure I agree with this. I feel like if he had gone for Fiends, he could have killed maybe 2, 3, whereas now he's going to force the Town Portal, and they're going to kill 0 Fiends, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be an easy escape there. And meanwhile, the Mountain King was already back. There was a bunch of peasants that I thought would have been easily picked off since they overextended themselves. But it is going to buy vital seconds for Spiral and SyDe to perhaps clear these gargantuan sea turtles and hopefully get some useful consumable items and perhaps follow up with a push here.
Yeah, I'm really curious exactly like what prompted this style. I guess probably just the map. The Crypt Lord of Mikael gets caught in the center. This is, by the way, the advantages, or the more advantageous host for the Korean team. We're on Mumbai now, as opposed to Russia Central first game. So apparently that ping doesn't mean much. Korean team won on their harder host. And now they're in a bit of trouble here on Turtle Rock.
Yeah, no, it was a beautiful impale followed up with a well-timed hex to stop any scroll of Town Portal. And we're going to see if whether or not Spiral getting the Stormbolt onto the Shadowhunter. Shadowhunter is going to be a little bit of a problem. There's a Thunderclap, but the Shadowhunter just separates enough distance to not take any additional melee damage. Deathcoil is trying to save the heroes, but this is just a complete train wreck, trying to figure out where all of the units are. And I'm not going to say, like, Micro, there's no lines of battle here where you know where your units are and your opponent's units are, and you're trying to attack them. It just seems like units are passing through each other, and you're somehow just trying to make something happen. As well, Mountain King gonna pick up a Scroll of the Beast. No, Death Knight picks it up. Both sides now having that Scroll of the Beast.
Yeah, I don't understand why they aggro the crypts. I think they was thinking about just engaging the camp. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication, because he was SyDe engaging into that turtle alone. It's a very big camp. Like, I don't care the scenario in any matchup, even in solo. You should never be fighting that camp plus the opponent at the same time. And that's what ended up happening here. They kind of salvaged the situation, though. They were able to get out with kind of minimal losses. Now they secure the first shred. The question is, do they head across the map and try and prevent the opponent from getting the other one?
Well, at the very least, they can attempt to get the Gargantuan Sea Turtle and that Goblin Merchant Shop as well. We're just trying to trade experience right now on the map, and Turtle Rock, as you mentioned, it's a pretty decent sized map, but there's so much dead space and so many red creeps that it feels like you constantly just run into your opponent, or your opponent is just one hill away, and sometimes you just don't know where they are.
What is this build by by ThundeR? There is no Sanctum, there is no Workshop. It's double Barracks Castle Tech. He's going for Knights. He wants to build a front line for Mikael to focus on doing mass fiends, tri-hero statues. This is really wild here. It's very, very uncommon to play like this.
Yeah, well, we'll see. He's going to tier 3 here in just a moment. Meanwhile, yeah, the Knights are going to be able to rip through those Crypt Fiends or establish some sort of front line. There goes the Impales again, once more throwing up all of the units. And now we see a little bit more synergy, being able to use, well, a Stormbolt followed by a Siphon Mana. But the Mountain King is in trouble. He is hexed, and it looks like it's going to go down to 40 hit points, 49. And he is able to be saved, running to the back with a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. But still, he realizes he needs to get out of there, as he will be able to back away again. And this is going to give SyDe and Spiral time to creep the other red creep camp.
Yeah, he banished the Mountain King immediately after the Death Coil landed, so he saved him because of that. They were not able to throw physical attacks his way. All of the nukes were gone. And then after that, he was able to completely get out. Great save by ThundeR, because if he loses that, the rest of his army could just be stranded there, and then suddenly they're taking a really unfavorable fight. So for them to be able to eject out of there, it was kind of a good save, but yeah, as you said, securing that second big red camp by SyDe and Spiral is going to give them a very big lead in this game now.
Yeah, it was a really, really bad situation. They made it less bad, but at the end, we'll see whether or not those 2 items, and what were the items? Were they aura items? Where is the item?
They got double Helm of Valor on both of the reds. The Blade Master has plus 10 agility and plus 10 strength, so he's got 900 hit points and plus 20 damage right now with the claw.
All right, and that there is a Kodo Beast out there, so yeah, that's some big damage indeed. Is that... do we know if it's level 2 critical strike or level 2 wind walk? That's going to be important.
Forces are under attack.
Yeah, it's level 2 wind walk.
All right, level 2 wind walk.
If you want, I can send you the best overlay later for 2-on-2s. It's
All
a
right.
different one than WT Booster. WT Booster is great for solo.
Yep. Oh, I would love that. Or I want to be able to see all of the skills of all of the units.
Yeah.
All right, so we are looking at, well, the human tri-hero Paladin is rounding out the team right there. We do have Knights, as you mentioned, in that front line. We are getting Sundream Blades and Animal War training as well. ThundeR sitting at 46 supply. Perhaps going to be staying in no upkeep for a little while before trying to flush out that entire front line. Well, all of the creep camps on the map are already cleared out, and this is not even 12 minutes into the game. Maybe a couple oranges are left, but... wow, only way to start any fighting or get experience is by engaging here, as the Blade Master may be in trouble. Gets a quick wind walk, Dust of Appearance, but it's already too far away.
Oh my god, Spiral, that was so dangerous. A Blade Master was in the middle of 2 armies for a second. Fortunately for him, he was able to get out. And now I think we might be looking at the first really, really big fight here with over 100 supply per team. SyDe, 57. We've got 60 for Spiral. On the other side, it's 49 for Mikael and 50 for ThundeR. So definitely a bit of a supply deficit. But they have high tier units like Knights. He's got 4 of them total right now.
Yeah, Knights, he's also getting those upgrades. We are looking at... did they keep their Scroll of the Beast for this starting fight?
I don't see it. Yeah, I think they...
No, it's on the Death
Wait,
Knight.
who had it? Oh, okay, yeah, no.
Yeah, Michael has... yeah. Mikael. Is it Michael or Mikael?
Well, with Korean letters and pronunciation, it is Mikael.
Okay.
Like Michael is like, American or something pronunciation.
Okay.
So then it's the question of how, like, you can say it how you want, but he says it Mikael, so that's how I say it as well.
All right. I felt so bad. I'm like, is it Mikael or Michael? Ah.
A town is under siege.
All right. Idra or Idra for so many years. So many years.
Potato. Potato.
All right.
I don't think you're going to be getting an angry email from him someday about his nickname, so you're good.
All right, I'm good. All right, Spiral not making the same mistake, having fortified or reinforced defenses this time around, taking down that Voodoo Lounge in the front, though. Mountain King should be throwing in some Thunderclaps, trying to slow things down as well, as we're looking at Impales picking up units left and right. Knights really need to be able to get to that back line, but and hit onto all of those big Crypt Fiends, but the Crypt Fiends are able to attack freely from behind here, but both sides losing multiple units. Impales and Thunderclaps galore, as that Mountain King uses the Potion of Lesser Invulnerability in time. Holy Light's still going to save more Thunderclaps as well. More Impales picking up units. And this is a bloodbath, and it's difficult to tell who's winning.
It feels like Spiral and SyDe are starting to do a little bit better. All of the Knights are going to melt very quickly. Spirit Link is active on everything. What are you supposed to get against that? ThundeR didn't go for any Priest with this spell. If you go for Destroyers, then there's so many Fiends countering you already. And it looks like the European team might be about to seal the deal here with a snipe on the Crypt Lords.
And that is the GG right there. Michael and ThundeR losing game number 2 in this matchup. Able to, Spiral and SyDe able to tie up the series as we go into game number 3.
It's very entertaining here, but maybe a little bit snowbally as well. They got the advantage and then they just kept on expanding it.